Hi, Michael, welcome back. This is one of my favorite of the week. I teach these in my classes, weekly classes in 15 cities around the country, Paris and London and Rome. It's called Cluster and Zone. It's hip, it's happening, it's now. If I were working in downtown LA, had a shop, or in hipster Chelsea, New York, this is the one I'd have buckets full when you walk in for a cash and carry item. I bought different flowers, bunches of all mass flowers. Remember we talked about it. Line flowers have flowers going down the stem like a snapdragon, a gladiolus. Mass flowers are like a ball on a stick. These are all mass flowers I'm working with today. No line materials, all mass. So it is in fact a mass design. It's new, it's fresh, it's cool, I love it. And we're going to cluster and zone. Cluster means flowers together. Zone means in one zoned area of your design. So we're doing a tight hand-tied bouquet of cluster and zone. Later on, we're going to do some other cluster and zone techniques using different flowers that look completely different, but still using that cluster and zone technique applied. So here is the beginning. I can do one of these in 5 minutes too, but I'm going to slow down. We're going to start with our focal point, which will be a hydrangea. I remove most of these big leaves because they suck up a lot of stem. I'm going to leave a couple on for protection. I think they look good. So this is you're going to hold this entire bouquet up high. See where I'm holding it? You're not going to hold it down here this time. You're going to hold it nice and high. And every flower, like a boardroom chart in a boardroom, is going to touch this hydrangea. Later on, you can break my rules and put flowers coming down inside. But for now, we want all the clusters of flowers that are zoned to go off like pinwheels, like spokes, off of this hydrangea. So the good thing to do, here's a tip, is to take a nice fat head flower, mass flower, go on one side with your cluster, and then go immediately to the other side to hold this hydrangea in place. If you start working your way around the hydrangea with your different clusters and zones, your hydrangea will wind up off center. So here we go, cluster and zone. I'm going to start with my roses, beautiful pink, sort of bridally shade. I'm going to take off most of these leaves. Now, if we were collaring, as you know, we'd be going totally around it like this. We're not collaring, we're cluster and zoning. So I want to take the flowers and start working my way down the side of the mountain this way. Start working my way down. So there is my first cluster and it's zoned. Now, let's take another flower. I'm going to go right to the opposite side and I'm going to take my red garden roses. Everybody loves a garden rose these days. I don't use them a lot. I think they're pretty. This is an especially pretty variety. A lot of them do not look this cool. A lot of them look to me like cabbage with their heads cut off. But I'm going to use this garden rose. Very expensive. These retail for about $15 a stem. But I'm going to go on the other side of my bouquet and I'm going to cluster and zone with my garden roses. See that on opposite sides on your close-up there? One here, one there. Now I'm going to just fill in all the way around. Let's take another flower. I'll take my mini green hydrangeas. I'm going to cluster and zone next to those roses, removing most of these leaves. I should have done this earlier. I forgot to prep my materials. Remove most of your foliage before you begin. See it? Cluster, zone. I need one more of those. Hopefully, I got two more. Removing the leaves. And I'm going to zone with my green hydrangea. I'm going to switch hands. Notice every flower is touching that white hydrangea. Get another close-up. Every flower is feeding off of that hydrangea. Next, I'm going to take, what do we got? I've got some mini callas. I'm going to cluster and zone. I'm going to squish these over and make room right in there for another zone of flowers. Mini callas. Notice again, I'm sending them through. We learned this in another class. Do not stack your flowers. I forgot to tell you that. Send them through. If they start on one side, they go exit on the other side. You go along either side of your bouquet. You cannot go through your bouquet. You go on either side of your bouquet. So like, see how I'm doing it? Like this. Not through the middle. Lay it on the side. So now I've clustered and zoned another material. Let's go squish these around. Make some room and let's pop in another rose. We'll do an orange rose over here. It's going to be a very colorful sort of carnival coloring. And we're going to cluster and zone with our roses. This time I'm going to use 4 roses. I usually work in 3s or 4s on this design. There you go. What else do I have? I have hypericum berries. I'm going to do another cluster of hypericum berries right in here. I'm going to squeeze it in between those hydrangeas. 1 little cluster of hypericum berry, 2 and 3. There's another cluster and zone, all touching that white hydrangea. Look what I'm doing. I just sort of push them around, shove them around, pull them up, push them down. What else do I have? I have some spray roses. No, they're too close to that pink. I'm going to use these carnations. People love to hate carnations. I like them. They remind me of my sister's wedding growing up. 1, I forgot to fluff these. Got to fluff these open. 2 and 3, and there's another cluster and zone of flowers. And last but not least, pushing these all down, making sure they're all on that dome shape. I have some tulips. I'm going to work a little bit of clustered tulips right next to those carnations. 1, 2. Remember, tulips are hydrotropic. You need to slit them at right below the flower head with a knife. Right there, you put a little 1/4 slit right there. That will stop them from growing. Otherwise, tomorrow, in fact, don't do it. Tomorrow when you look at your bouquet, these will all be sticking out to here. They're hydrotropic, they tend to grow. Now, I'm done with my cluster and zone. I'm going to tweak it. And I'm going to grab a little bit of filler over here. Maybe add, I love to always finish off my designs, a little bit of filler and a little bit of pittosporum. I'm going to add a little bit of wax around the edges, just a little. It's like adding your salt and pepper. Like that. Again, I didn't worry about the colors. I chose just random colors pretty much. Sort of like a garden collection of flowers of colors. Red's rather strong in this design, but I like it. Shows up nicely. This is a welcome to the neighborhood. If you really like your new neighbors, this is not a cheap bouquet. And see how I tweaked it? Woke them on. I'm going to grab my pit. Again, clean off the bottom of these stems like this. And again, layering it through your bouquet, crisscrossing from one side to the other. This took me all of 3 minutes. And I think I have time to do a second one. I'm going to do another cluster and zone for you, a small one. So I've collared it with some pittosporum. That gives a nice collar on it. It just gives it a nice border all the way around your design. Can't find the camera. There it is. Right there, all the way around your design. Now, I'm going to give it one last tweak. Make sure everything, see how it's head to head? Like a bald head. You got to pull them up, push them down. Pull them up, push them down. Then I'm going to go off camera and grab some just regular 22, 23 gauge wire. I'm going to use 2 or 3 pieces here. Clear this runway. And when you go to wire this, you're going to choke it up really high. Go nice and high. No, see where my hand is? Really high. I'm going to open that top finger and push those wires underneath that finger. I'm going to pull these around and grab them and twist. Really just squeeze those wires together and just spin your bouquet. You can do I call it the merry-go-round, or you can do the Ferris wheel. Either one. That's the Ferris wheel. This is the merry-go-round. Then I'm going to pull off any of the garbage, clean it up, and present to my neighbor and say, welcome to the neighborhood. This is one of my favorite designs, cluster and zone. Let's get a close-up in the camera. It's like a nice collection of your garden, all nicely displayed. There it is, right there. So, cluster and zone. I'm going to do another bouquet. Let me do a real short one for you, a smaller one. All right, isn't that pretty? Now, let's look at the pricing on this design. We have one hydrangea, $2. These are really expensive, $3 a piece. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, $1.50, 15, 16, $1.50, 17, 18, 19. I always go in favor of the house. I think I have a third one in there. Did I lose it? We'll go at 20. Carnations are inexpensive, 50 cents, 21, 22-ish. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. We got about $33. This is a $90 bouquet without your labor. This is definitely a bridal bouquet or a really expensive bridesmaid's bouquet coming down. I would probably use more bridally colors, or, a little bit more on the same color band. But it's a very pretty bouquet. And again, anytime you put flowers head to head and you're compacting them in, it's expensive. There's almost a dozen roses in here. Besides your expensive mini callas, mini hydrangeas, everything in here. There's nothing inexpensive in here but your carnations. So let's do another one real quick. We've got time. I'll start with roses as a center. Notice I angled them across like this, form your little triangle, and then I'm going to do some berries in a cluster and zone working way. Again, you're not going around the bouquet. That would be called collaring. You're working your way down the mountain, I call it. Here's some stock. Now, here's an interesting flower. It's pretty much a line flower. Remember I talked about line and mass? This is a lot of a line flower, so I'm going to use it for now, and I might end up ripping the heads off. You can always tell when it was cloudy weather in California by how leggy the stalk is. And a lot of times I like it to look like a potato, so I literally lop it off at the head. So it's a nice mass flower. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to use them as a mass flower. So here's some stock that I have in there. I see it's going to stick out too far if I leave it on. We want a nice tight bouquet. Cluster and zone. Here's some spray roses I can use. Again, all in one area of your design. That is the zone part. Cluster is the touching part. Here's some carnations I'll lay in. See, I got to pick even more of that off. This is a mass flower design primarily, but you can get away with stock. So I'm layering that in like that. So everything has its little area on the design. And last, I have some spray roses. I'll do a couple zones of spray roses. You can do more than one zone in a design of a flower. And scoot those berries over and squeeze in another one here. And then, see how quick that was? 5 minutes. And then, of course, my little bit of pit. Pittis porum. You know I love it. I use it to hold up, protect, collar my designs all day long. Who doesn't love pit? It works really well for everything every day. Pit and salal. People ask me about the greens I use. I pretty much use pit, Pittis porum, salal, and seeded eucalyptus on 70-80% of everything I do. So here is, oops, I dropped it, our second little design of cluster and zone. How sweet is that? Into the camera. Right there. Check it out. I love these. They're clean. I said they're like an Oprah Winfrey color block sweater. They're easy to read. So there is my little cluster and zone design, small one. And now, of course, I'm going to grab a couple wires out of my wire collection. These are 21 to 23 gauge wire. 22 is really good, but it seems to be disappearing off the market lately. I'm not sure why. What would this bouquet be good for? A million things again. I love you. I'd love to see you on a second date. Flower girl, congratulations on your baby. Welcome to the neighborhood. Happy anniversary. Love you, Grandma. There's no reason not to give this bouquet. I'm going to show you again how to wire it. This is one of the most difficult parts in class that everybody asks about over and over. But you choke it high, squeeze it. See, I'm choking it. I tip it sideways, parallel to the table. Wiggle that finger. Say hello, like Mrs. Doubtfire in the movie. Hello. You won't forget that now, will you? I say weird things in class so people remember when they go to make this. They say, you know what? It didn't turn out. Oh, wait a minute. Hello. So wiggle your fingers, say hello. Drop a couple of wires, 2 or 3, underneath that finger, and that finger pushes them around. You turn it over and you grab your reins and pull and put that finger underneath like this. Or here's another way. You just squeeze, pinch the wires and drop it and spin it. Let the bouquet do the work. You just relax and pinch those wires so the bouquet does the work. You only have to go around 1 or 2 times and you're done. In the next, by the way, in the next class, I'm going to show you how to wrap all the hand-tied bouquets we've done today if you want to do a hand-wrap bouquet. But you're going to clean all this off. This takes longer, I swear, to do than the actual bouquet. These extra wires you can cut off. I just usually wrap them around the bouquet. Give a little more wrap. Let's get in that camera again. Right there. Right there it is. Clean all this off and cut it with my clippers. Where are they? Right behind me. It's just like being in school, I swear. I'm always losing clippers. Cut some of this off. Let's price this one out. Give me your guess on this one. I'm telling you, they're not cheap. Now, it depends on where you shop, of course. But I know what I pay for flowers wholesale, and they've been getting expensive lately. The prices have been going up. I always said the prices of flowers have not gone up in 30 years. Truly, roses have been $1 since I started 25 years ago. Berries have been like 85 cents a piece since I started 25 years ago. All of a sudden lately, I'm like, how much for berries? $12 a bunch. That's like $1.20. When did that happen? Roses, one time $1. What did they want? $1 or $2.15. I went outrageous. I don't want them. So prices are going up. So here is your little matching bouquet for your garden party. How much would this count for? Let's go. Roses, $1 a piece. 1, 2, 3. Berries, $1 a piece. 4, 5, 6. Spray roses, $1.50. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Carnations, cheap, 50 cents. 13, 13 and a half. Stock, 75 cents. 14, 15, 16. 7, let's say 16 times 3. This is a $48 bouquet without your labor, and it is sweet. I would wrap it and pin it for free. But again, cluster and zoning, one of my favorite styles of design. Once you get used to it, you'll be addicted. Remember, all flowers just touch, radiate off your focal point. It's an easy design to do, whether it's for a centerpiece in the middle of your table, you can drop it into a vase, or for down the aisle, or for giving to someone as a bouquet. Fast and easy. 3 or 4 flowers of each variety makes these sizes. Again, like a Oprah Winfrey color block sweater. So easy to read, which is why people like them. Don't forget to spray them with Crowning Glory. Don't forget to keep them cool. I spray my flowers every day. Open up the cooler, I give them another shot. When they're walking out the door, by the way, and the driver's carrying them like this, they're like, Michael, we gotta go. I'm like, wait. My flowers leave my shop wet because I know they're gonna dry on the way to the recipient. It takes about 5 to 10 minutes for that Crowning Glory to dry. And I know they're gonna be perfect flowers, and they're gonna call me in 2 weeks saying, oh my God, these bouquets are still alive. I go, yeah, they'll go another 3. Call me after the 3rd week. Let's see how they're doing. So, cluster and zone. Fantastic. I'll see you in the next class.